Welcome to Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. Today is February 9th, Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm standing in a sorghum plot. I'll be in front of the TV here pretty soon, but I want to do two things with today's episode. I want to continue this classic lessons series with another hunt from 2008. I think you'll find this buck interesting, but I'm standing here in this sorghum plot because I want to figure out whether this was successful or not. You know, last summer I had a couple conversations about corn versus sorghum and why you might plant one versus the other. And I'm sure I'll dive into that with a lot more detail in a later episode of the Dream Farm series. But today I just wanted to show you pretty much what they're doing in this plot versus the corn. So as I walk through here and look at this, let's watch this hunt from mid-November 2008. Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails is brought to you by Redneck Blinds, Code of Silence Apparel, Hunt Stand Pro Whitetail App, Whitetail Institute, Research Equals Results, B3 Releases, XO Broadheads, Exact Sights, Muddy Outdoors Tree Stands, Stealth Cam Trail Cameras, and Hoyt. Well, I guess I'm done for the season, or at least for the rut. That's a heck of a buck. Whew, boy, he's just laying right there. Right in that corner. I know, but I mean, where was he? Just bedded out in there someplace. Seven yards, maybe. That's pretty cool.
This is the best caffeine I've ever had.
The best what?
Caffeine I've ever had.
You ready to go?
I still don't feel comfortable with people watching me eat. That way. Right in the back in the trailer?
No. If I have a wreck, you guys go flying off into Avery Creek.
Oh well, I can swim, don't worry.
All right.
Oh no, I can stand. No, he can't.
No, you can't.
You can't?
Now you can.
No, he can't. Bright light, no, I can't see. Stop, you just know what I mean, okay?
Okay, or we can just be quiet.
No, that would not work very well. Kind of a no blood trail.
Usually I bring you guys with to Blood Trail, don't I?
This is one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. I found the blood, Daddy. Beautiful thing. It's better.
1, 2, 3. Oh. Try that again.
Take two.
It looks to me like they've eaten about half of the sorghum. And I'm sure that if this would have been planted to corn, being less than a half an acre, they would have eaten it all by now, especially in this part of the farm where there's a fairly decent number of deer and not quite as much food here maybe as what there is in other parts. So overall attractiveness, at least on this farm, I would say the corn is more attractive than the sorghum. But there's more to it than that, because there's also the question of deer density. And like I said, we'll get into this with more detail when we get, further into the Dream Farm series this spring. So let's get to that hunt of this buck that I shot back in 2008. This is an interesting buck for a couple reasons. One, he was just a very short distance, a couple hundred yards max off this county road, and he was heading towards the road, which I thought was a little bit of a twist. I'm not even sure what encouraged me to hunt this spot. It didn't make a lot of sense. It's kind of funny because I had a neighbor back at that time that one time told me, and he wasn't even a deer hunter, he pulled me aside and he said, "I got a little tip for you." He said, "Hunt where you least expect it." I thought, it's kind of an odd tip, but maybe there's some truth to that. Well, this buck kind of proved that out. But I think the bigger lesson here that we can pull from this buck is the fact that this was November 16th, a time of the season that's normally referred to as the peak of the lockdown, when most of the mature bucks, if not all, are tied up with does, because so many does are in estrus that the bucks can just go from one hot doe to the next, and they don't have to travel much. They don't have to cover a lot of ground. It's pretty easy pickings for the bucks. Well, normally this would be a time of the year when you'd think, oh, maybe I'll take a break now, or I won't hunt during this time frame. I'll get some things done, back home, or whatever it might be. If I'd had that attitude that day, I wouldn't have shot this nice buck. So sometimes they break the rules, and I guess that's probably, like I said, the bigger takeaway on this one is the fact that you can't always predict based on past behavior of these mature bucks what they're going to do in the future. Sometimes they do things that you don't expect, and that's what this deer did. Not only was he moving during the peak of the lockdown by himself, well before the end of legal shooting time, but he was just a couple hundred yards off a county road. And it was a fun buck for a lot of reasons for me. I had a really good time with the family, with the kids going in to get the deer. Drew Yarkowski filmed this, and Drew went on. He was I think he was an intern that year. Yes, he was. And he went on to become one of the very best editors in the entire hunting industry, if not the best. He edited for Heartland Bowhunter for a number of years, and he's since gotten into real estate. But this was one of the early efforts by young Drew Yarkowski. So that's my lesson on this episode, and I'll keep bringing these to you. We've got a lot of hunts from the farm, mine and my friend Mike Sawyer's, some that the kids shot some deer along the way too that we can talk about. So I'm going to bring out as many of these as I can. They're a lot of fun for me. I hope you're enjoying them too. I appreciate you joining me, and I'll see you right back here again soon for the next episode of Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. And remember to always dream big.